1 o'clock, a little bit late, but better late than never. Vanessa Lane Jennings is in the studio. This show is called Legal Lane, and the phone lines are open if you have a legal circumstance that you would like a little advice on. This is a great time to call. The number here is, as it is for all the shows, 622-9622. Give us a few minutes, and we'll give you Vanessa's number at her office here in Ocala. Her law firm, of course, is the Jennings Law Firm. And good morning, Vanessa. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you this morning?
Beautiful weather, huh?
It is a gorgeous day.
Did you, was traffic okay?
Traffic was fine.
The mall seems a little busier than usual, I guess because of Mother's Day shopping. I'm guessing. I don't know.
That would be a good guess.
We saw somebody get arrested earlier.
You did?
Yeah, well, we saw them taking the lady out in handcuffs.
Oh, she had some sticky fingers?
Maybe.
Allegedly.
Maybe, I don't know.
Allegedly.
So she might need an attorney.
She might. Did you start throwing my business cards at her?
Have you ever done that?
No.
In the beginning of your career?
We're not allowed to do that.
Oh, you're not allowed to do that?
No, that's still ambulance chasing, even though it's criminal chasing. Allegedly.
Wasn't there a time when you couldn't even advertise on radio? Wasn't there a time?
There might have been, but that might have been pre-me advertising, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm sure it was.
Rules.
But I think that's why the ads in the phone books were so huge, because they dumped all their money into the phone book ads. You go to the A section, you got a whole page ad, full color, smiling faces.
We're going to help you.
We promise, but we don't promise because we're not allowed to promise.
Are you working on anything you can share with us right now that we would be interested in? Any cases?
That you would be interested in. They're all interesting.
Well, they're all interesting, yeah.
We've had a lot of family issues that have gone around corporal punishment. Normally, I have four. I've had four my entire.
You mean being spanked at school?
No, well, parental corporal punishment.
Parental?
Yes.
The children are suing their parents for spanking them?
The other parent is suing the parents for spanking their child. Well, not suing, but seeking more time sharing.
Oh, split families, divorces, and step-parents?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I have 6 cases right now that are dealing with that. They didn't start out that way. They've just now gone into that.
Really?
Which is one of the reasons why I was a little late this morning. But, yeah, so that's a new trend I am seeing.
And how do you look at that? Do you look at that as, not a scam, but I mean as a strategy, maybe not even a necessarily an ethical strategy, but do you look at it as a strategy to get the kids to say that the stepdad is spanking them too hard and that kind of thing?
Well, normally it's just parent to parent. Like the other parent is doing
The other parent?
Yes.
Oh.
So it's not even a third party.
Oh, my goodness.
All of my cases are between the parents. And I would say that in some of the cases, it's a strategy, 100%. I would say that that's my legal opinion.
That's
or
the strategy,
opinion,
yeah.
That it's a strategy or a ploy. But in the other cases, there's just, millennials are having babies now, and they weren't necessarily spanked, and they don't think you should spank your kids.
Oh my gosh. Now, how about the grandparents? How do they figure in? Can the grandparents ask for visitation rights if the parent of the child doesn't want them to see them at all?
Florida does not like to give grandparents lots of rights.
Oh.
So they're going to there's a statute on point, and they'd have to meet all the criteria for the statute. There's just so many grandparents in Florida that there would be, and they have more disposable income, they have more time, they have more, leisurely activity to go ahead and go into court and spend the money and buy buy attorneys to go into court and fight. So I think Florida's been a little bit hesitant to give them an open door.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh.
It's a shame because there's so many heartbreaking stories of divorces, and then the next thing you know, the grandparents don't see the grandchildren at all.
Yep. And I get a lot of those phone calls. I'll say I get at least 2 of those phone calls a week.
Really?
Where there's nothing going on. The children are being neglected. There's no abuse. They just want to see their grandkids.
Right,
they just want 2 or 3 hours here or there.
Did you see the story the other day? And I think it was here in Florida, of the little girl, 7 years old, and she would do the after-school program, and then mom and dad would pick her up at the school at the after-school program. But she didn't want to do that, so she decided to go home. So she wrote a note in her own handwriting, which was the way a 7-year-old would write big letters and misspelled words, and please excuse Joni so she can ride the bus today. And they let her go. when she got to one point, and somebody called the father and said, "What?" So he went and picked her up. I don't know. I mean, that sounds like a lawsuit probably in the works, right?
I would presume there needs to be some kind of double checking if you're going to let your 7-year-old or let a 7-year-old get on a bus.
But I mean, you would look at the handwriting and say, that doesn't look like an adult wrote this.
Yeah, the school letter.
Oh, not necessarily what you're saying.
Oh.
Right. I say
Mom might not know how to write.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, it depends. I mean, was it, especially if it was a public school? I mean, if it was a private school,
I think it was a public school. I'm not sure.
presumably there.
Okay, oh, you got your headset on?
I do.
Good morning. You're on the air with Vanessa.
Yeah, good morning. That sounds a little bit like Welcome Back, Cotter, signed Epstein's mother.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Vanessa's
Just
looking.
my little joke for the day. Have
Thank
a
you.
good day. Bye.
Does Vanessa remember Welcome Back, Cotter? You're kind of young. Do you remember that at all?
I know that it was a TV show.
Welcome back.
And I might have heard the theme song, but I do not remember the premise.
How do you help? How do you draw up the legal documents when sometimes people can't read it all, and other people will be here from other countries and they don't want to learn English, but all they speak is Spanish?
Well, those are
How do you
two
do that?
totally separate situations for me. I am of the school of Brian Gardner. He is a legal writer who writes in plain English, and he believes that all lawyers should write in plain English and not use big words. I might use big words in my everyday vocabulary, but I try not to in my legal writing. Doesn't always happen, but that is my goal. And so I try to make it as clear and concise, and so there's no ambiguity. So one, the court would understand, but two, that the average person would understand. So try to keep it 8th grade level-ish, but still sophisticated looking.
Excellent.
And then right, it's always a challenge. And then when it comes to Spanish, we have an interpreter come in and read the document in English and then tell them what it says in Spanish. And then we have a Spanish affidavit that's they are able to read that agrees that everything that they know what they're signing is there. So sometimes, and if it's a shorter document, sometimes we'll, I have a native Spanish writer go ahead and write it in Spanish, and then they're able to sign it. The only problem there is I don't necessarily know 100% what it says, so I have to but I have a couple of Spanish attorney friends, and assuming it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. So, but I prefer it to be in English, and then them to sign the affidavit
Oh, okay.
that it was translated
I like
to
that.
them.
Is our marriage vows a legal document? When you say "I do" after you say all that other stuff, did you just sign the contract?
The marriage licenses.
The marriage licenses, but
Yes.
the words that you say in front of the preacher or whatever, are those? Is that a verbal agreement? Are you making a verbal agreement? It's not. It sounds not so romantic to say that, but legally, is that what that is?
You could argue that, but I would say it's not a legal marriage in the state of Florida. Well, I wouldn't say it. It's not a legal marriage in the state of Florida because you don't have a marriage license. That's a requirement.
Okay, and the license itself says what?
It says
That you're married?
we're married, and there's some witnesses and a notary stamp section too. They're either like a notary stamp or the person, the officiant signs it, and then you have your two witnesses. You would have a witness, and you'd have a witness, and they'd sign it.
Oh, okay.
Well, and I know we've talked about this before, but I've always thought that a contract between two business people seems to be respected more than the contract between two lovers who become married. It seems like that contract isn't respected by the law in most terms. I mean, you can just say, okay, you get this, and we're going to decide. But in a business, if I have a business contract with somebody, we had this discussion, I think, once before, where if we split the business up, it's already in the contract. If the business
most of the
falls
time.
apart, yeah, but we don't do that with marriages.
Well, not everyone does business contracts either, and as you said, most of the time. But there's a lot of people who they come to me who have zero contract. They got into an arrangement and they
In their
decided-
business?
in their business
Okay.
and decided, this is my best friend, this is my brother, this is my mother, this is whomever. We're going to go into business together, and as most people who've been in business know, there's ebbs and flows, and as life changes, the course of the business can change, and that could affect a party. And sometimes they want to leave, and then it's what is mine? How do you value that business? What we might not have a lot of cash, but we might be worth a lot. So it's one of those things where they fight just like a married couple would fight.
We're going to take a short break. I'm going to shorten it up as much as I can because we missed a few minutes with you at the beginning. If you have any questions for Vanessa, this is a great time to call. You'll be on hold only a short time. I'm going to play, let's see, the weather, and it looks like a minute and a half of commercials. So 2 minutes. We'll be right back. 622-9622 if you'd like to be on the air. We'll be right back with Vanessa.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Friday will be bright and sunny and beautiful with low humidity, the high 74 to 78. Clear Friday night and quite comfortable, low 51 in a few inland spots, 58 at the coast. Saturday, sunny and becoming a bit warmer, high 79 at the coast, 83 inland. For Sunday, mostly sunny and even warmer, high 84 to 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. Let's get rid of those sun-damaged ends and faded out color and get into something rich and vibrant. It's time to get that new look started. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon, 351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is a certified Brazilian blowout salon. We can tame those locks, leaving your hair healthy and shiny with a Brazilian smoothing treatment. And whether you're going on a job interview or out on a date, your hands do a lot of talking. Manicures are a must. Hello Gorgeous is a full-service salon, so let us help you make a great first impression. Call us today to set your appointment at Hello Gorgeous. Our number is 352-351-5358. Again, that's 352-351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Ocala, right next to the historic Marion Theater. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too.
Hello, gorgeous.
All right, we've got 8.5 minutes left in the program. It's enough time for you to have at least a little bit of an answer to a question that you may be wondering about. If you're in legal circumstances or know somebody who is, Vanessa Lane Jennings is here right now. 622-9622. Call in, ask the question, get the ball rolling, and then later on, the best thing to do would sit across the desk from Vanessa at her office. And where's your office, Vanessa?
It is located at 2945 Northeast 3rd Street, and that's across from Muni Golf Course.
Could I ask you to just move that microphone just a little, aim it toward yourself? There you go. Yeah, there you go. And the phone number, I'm sorry?
It's area code 352-804-0092.
Okay. I'm guessing that the cases we hear in the news, which are murders and robberies and things like that, it's almost cut and dry. But when you've got family law, which sounds like a lot of what your practice is, there's a lot of emotion involved in all of that.
It's all emotion.
It's all emotion. Wow.
And it's our job to try to put the emotion aside and look at the facts and to look at it with case law. Take the facts to apply to case law and get the people the best results humanly possible.
And when you have people working with you on your staff, how do you determine which person works on which case?
Well, there's me.
Uh-huh.
So I work on all the cases.
So you don't have assistants or anything?
Well, I do, but they don't work the files in my firm. So, I mean, we have myself, and then we have Anthony, who is the associate attorney, but everything goes through me to him.
Wow.
And you have a phone call. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air with Vanessa.
Yes, good morning, Vanessa.
Good morning.
Would there be any particular problem in taking a client on who was not a U.S. citizen, was from a foreign country that got any kind of a certain problem?
No, I've had lots of people in those situations. So that's not a problem at all.
So if you're not an American citizen, is there any, taking a person to court like that, is there any laws or rules or regulations that would be not in favor of a person who's not a citizen?
Well, in criminal law, 100%, because if they take a plea in a criminal case, they're subject to deportation.
Oh, okay.
Even if
So,
they,
in other words,
even if they have a green card, or even if, well, depends on what they have. There are certain visas, certain things they're protected, but there's some of them that are not. And I don't do immigration law, so I can't go into all the different ones. But there's a ton of them that could be affected, and they would be deported.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So when an illegal immigrant is arrested, do they take him to jail, or do they take him to immigration, or where do they go?
Well, normally they'll just go to the normal jail, Marion County Jail, MCJ. And while they're there, depending on what their status is, it depends on whether or not there's going to be a hold. Sometimes there's an immigration hold, so they're not allowed to leave. So even if they could bond out, they won't let them. Other cases, they're able to bond out because that hold hasn't been placed on them, and then they're just like every other person who's bonded out until it's time to take a plea. But for them, it's just a little bit more delicate because there's an added layer of an immigration issue, and certain pleas and certain charges could deport them even if they have the right to be here on a legal basis at that time.
We had a story yesterday that the U.S. government wants to change the wording of when you talk about prisoners. You can't use the word felon and you can't use the word criminal or prisoner. They have to substitute 3 or 4 different words in a sentence for these people because they're afraid that it's going to affect their rehabilitation. How do you feel about something like that? Because I think that's wrong, because that's like a slap in the face to all the people that aren't criminals or don't do anything wrong.
Whatever word you substitute, and this is just my personal opinion.
And all the legal documents.
Whatever word you substitute for it, that's going to now become synonymous with the same thing that those other words became known for. So that's just putting a Band-Aid on a
It's a very
solution.
good point. Yeah, yeah. We do have a phone call, Vanessa. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air with Vanessa.
Yes, good morning, good morning. 2 rather famous illegal alien cases involving organized crime figures. Lucky Luciano was convicted and deported, and Vito Genovese was convicted and sentenced to life in prison without parole. So I guess
that's been the law of the land for a long time then.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've got a few minutes left. What is your phone number again, Vanessa?
It's area code 352-804-0092.
So when you're working with a couple that is trying to figure out what to do because they're getting divorced and they have children, does the amount of time that the father or the mother, I guess it doesn't matter what the sex is of the parent, does it matter how much time they're spending at work? Does it matter how much money they're making? Do all those things come into play? In other words, just because somebody is, let's assume both parents are good parents. They're not going to be harmful to the children. Everybody's really good. But sometimes people are spending more time at their job. They have no choice. Does that actually cause a person to be penalized if he's not going to be home as much?
Yes.
Or she?
Yes.
Really?
I've had it happen in the last 6 months, so yes.
Oh my gosh.
And I've had it happen on the other side in the last 3 months, so absolutely.
On the other side, meaning?
Like that wasn't my client. The other side had the consequences.
Oh, I see.
So when it comes to who makes more money and who doesn't make more money, this really comes down to child support issues.
Okay.
And that's purely statutory calculations, and it's cut and dry. They set a minimum amount, and then so that's it. But going to the more complicated question, there's people who have night schedules, so it makes it very hard for them to exercise overnights. So that comes into play. If you're...
It should, right? I think so.
Who's going to watch the child?
Right.
I mean, that is a valid question.
Yeah.
No matter what side you fall on, that is a valid question.
Oh, yeah. When I was younger and my son was little and I was divorced, I did not take any nighttime jobs because I wanted to be with him. In fact, I was offered this job when he was little, the morning show job. And to do the morning show, you have to be up and out 3 a.m. Okay.
That's unheard of. Okay.
But seriously. So I said, I said, when I got the call from here, from Tish, I think it was. Mm-hmm. No, I think it was Bob, actually. Okay. And I said, I would love to do it, but I can't right now because I'd have to, my son would be in his bed and there'd be nobody home. How could I do that? Yeah, he's in there. Papa's in there. he used to own the station. But anyway, so yeah, and I agree with that actually, that the position. So I, as the father, had to make a decision how I was going to work.
Right. And that's a hard decision because some people, like, police officers, firefighters, correction officers, military personnel, some of them just don't have choices. I mean,
That's
they,
right.
They don't even, they
That's
don't get
right.
to, they're not making a choice. They had a career.
So
And now all of a sudden, they have to
gosh.
wait till a shift change or.
we're out of time, Vanessa. Thank you for everything.
Not a problem.
We love you. You're so good.
Thank you.
We'll take a little break. We'll be right back. If you need Vanessa's contact information, call us. We'll be glad to give you that over the phone. We'll be right back.
This is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm the